Hey, you're listening to Marketing Out Loud, a daily podcast where I share advice, stories, and insights to help you build a thriving consulting or professional services practice. To subscribe to the show, head over to marketingoutloud.fm. I still remember the day that I made my first major investment in a coaching experience for my business. And I had been in business up until then for years. And I bought, courses and information products and this, that, and the other. But I'd never invested in a serious coaching mentorship relationship. And I knew that that's what I needed. I knew that buying another $1,000 course, $2,000 course was going to, maybe give me some tactics, but wasn't going to level up my business in any kind of meaningful way. And so I'd been searching for the right opportunity for a while, probably too long. And I had found the right opportunity. I narrowed it down to a couple of options, and both options required a $10,000 investment. And to me, at the time, that felt like a lot of money. And I had a real hard time wrapping my head around making that investment. There was a lot of fear that came with that decision. And to be honest, I stalled on that decision for the better part of a year. If I'm being honest, it's probably about a year. And I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit that, but that's the truth. It was a better part of a year. And, in the back of my mind, I knew I needed to do it. I knew I should do it, but just the investment was so high that I was afraid to pull the trigger. And finally, things came to a point, not in a bad way, but in a good way, where the opportunity was just too large to ignore. And I knew how much I was leaving on the table by not going through this particular coaching program. And I knew I had to do it. And so I got on the phone with one of their advisors, and we were talking it out. And I still had fear, even though I was on the phone again, and I knew I wanted to enroll. I still had fear. And he asked me, he said, "Look, what's holding you back right now?" And I said, "Look, frankly, $10,000 is a lot of money for me." And I still remember the words that he said in response to that. He said, "Look, if you think $10,000 is a lot of money, $10,000 is always going to be a lot of money." And in that moment, I realized the way that you think about money and the way that you think about investing in your business is so damn important. I would say, dramatizing this investment. I was building it up in my head. I had framed this amount of money as this large sum of money that I have never parted with for something like this before. And I had gotten myself into this trap of overthinking the decision and getting very emotional about it, instead of making what should have been a very objective, rational business decision. I make this investment in my business. I'm going to acquire these skills and these competencies. I'm going to acquire this know-how that's worth way more to me than $10,000. On paper, no brainer. Emotionally, very complicated. And I say this to you because it's something I hear a lot when I'm on the phone enrolling clients into my program. There's two kinds of people, frankly. There are those who come to the conversation with the mindset that if the opportunity presents itself and it's the right opportunity, I am willing to invest in my business because I know that if I invest in my business and the opportunity is right for me, this is going to pay for itself multiple times over. One client who recently enrolled, he said to me, "Look, I understand that there's an opportunity cost here. If I should be earning, let's say, $30,000 a month, as an example, but I'm currently only earning 10, my opportunity cost is $20,000 a month. The longer I wait to do this, I'm paying $20,000 a month." That's the mindset you need to have as a business owner. There's an opportunity cost to not investing in the right opportunities. The flip side is another conversation I had this morning where you could tell this individual was very focused on the downside. They weren't thinking about, well, what happens if I do this work and I acquire these competencies and these skills and I have this strategy and then I grow my business? They weren't thinking that. They weren't there. They were thinking, well, what if I lose all this money? What if it doesn't work? What if I can't execute? What if this and what if that? And so they weren't looking at it as an investment. They were looking at it as a cost. And that's the wrong way to think about it entirely. But the thing is, I can't help that person. I can't fix the way they think about money in a short phone conversation. And that's why I wanted to come on and talk about this with you. You've got to have the right mindset about money to make decisions as a business owner and as an entrepreneur. That's so important when it comes to anything in your business, whether it's investing in coaching, mentorship, hiring a team, paying for staff, advertising. Oh, there's a big one. All these things require you to have a healthy mindset around money in your business for you to make effective business decisions. One of my friends is a Facebook ads manager, and he said it's so much harder to spend my own money on my own ads than it is to spend my clients' money on their ads. But you know what? They get better results because I have a hard time separating the emotions from my own spend. But in their case, we get better results because we leave the emotions out of it and we make cold, calculated business decisions. And that's the way you should be treating your own business. I mean, that sounds extreme, but that's the goal. Let's say it wasn't your money. Let's say a friend came to you and they were faced with an opportunity to invest in something and they wanted your advice. And you're looking at this as an outside observer, as an objective bystander. What would you tell them? It's a good question to ask. And if you're honest, a lot of the opportunities that are in front of you that you're not capitalizing on because you're afraid to spend the money, if you're honest, I think you would advise a friend or a colleague to pull the trigger and to get over it and do it anyways, because ultimately it's what's best for them. So some food for thought. The way that we think about money is crucially important as business owners. And what makes it more complicated is no one ever taught us how to do this in school. So we've got to figure it out on our own. Quick book recommendation, Wealth Attraction Secrets in the New Economy by Dan Kennedy. Fair warning, you might not appreciate Dan Kennedy's politics, but as far as money mindset goes, I don't know of many better books out there that'll teach you how to think about money. Hope that helps. Hey, thanks for listening. Do me a favor, if you like what you hear, go on iTunes and leave us a rating and a review because it helps more people discover the show. Thanks so much.